Hi guys, welcome back. I'm back with another video. If you're new here, my name is Melissa Crafter and I create custom epoxy free tumblers along with other crafts. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this epoxy free Milky Way tumbler. To make this tumbler, I use Brite Tone from the Crystalac company and Mica Powders from the Hippie crafter. If it's something that you're interested in, please continue watching. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask down in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Before we begin, I want to show you guys what Brite Tone looks like. This here is the gallon size of Brite Tone and it can be purchased at the crystalacstore.com. I'll also have it linked in the video description for you guys to check out. Brite Tone is an epoxy-free alternative. It is a water-based non-toxic top coat. Since it is non-toxic, you don't need any personal protective equipment when using it and it's safe to use even indoors. I use Brite Tone instead of epoxy as my top coat to achieve a glossy finish on my cups. With Brite Tone, a glossy finish is achieved by building up your gloss with multiple coats. Brite Tone coats are added super quick and easy, so don't be intimidated when I mention multiple coats. We'll talk a little bit more about that as the video continues. So I'm starting off with a prep tumbler. You do want to be sure to prep your tumbler. Prepping consists of sanding and base coating your cup. Prepping is the most important step when making a tumbler. Tumblers come with a manufactured coating on them that makes them water resistant and it stops them from rusting. This coat needs to be removed in order for paint and Crystalac products to adhere properly. You can remove that factory coating by sanding with 220 grit sanding paper. After sanding, you want to wash your tumbler with soap and water and then dry it off. After sanding, you do want to base coat your tumblers using a good base paint. Your base paint has to have bonding agents and rust inhibitors that are needed for a successful long-lasting cup. For this cup, I base coated with Rust-Oleum white spray paint. Since I did use spray paint, I did allow my cup to gas off for 48 hours. Since spray paint is solvent-based and Brite Tone is water-based, you do want to be sure to allow your spray paint to gas off before you continue to add Brite Tone to your cup. If you are using spray paint, you do want to make sure you allow your cup to off-gas for that 48-hour period. That way you're not trapping any gases underneath your Crystalac products and have issues later on. Another good option for base coat would be Universal White, which is sold by the Crystalac company, thecrystalacstore.com. You can use it by itself or you can also tint it using the Craft Me color concentrates that they sell to make any color base coat that you want. Two other products from the Crystalac company that you can purchase to base coat would be the colored glosses or the Flippin' Awesome paints. I'll go ahead and link all of these that I mentioned in the video description. All of the Crystalac base paint options that I mentioned do not require that off-gassing period since they are water-based. So these are the glitters that I'm going to be using. They are all from Glitzy Girl Glitter. You can find them at glitzygirlglitter.com. I'll link their website in the video description. I do have a promo code with Glitzy Girl Glitter. You can use promo code MelissaCrafter10 for money off of your order. The first glitter I showed is called Rosetta, and the second one here is called Vintage Rose. This third one here is called Rose Quartz. And this last one here is called Nicoles Beach Bod. Definitely check out the Glitzy Girl Glitter website. They have a big selection of quality glitter to choose from. To add my glitter, I'm going to add a coat of Brite Tone onto my tumbler and add my glitter that way. When doing Milky Ways, I like to add my glitter with Brite Tone since it does dry slower than if I was to be using glitter glue. I'm simply going to go ahead and add a coat of Brite Tone and then allow this to spin for a few seconds before I begin to add my glitter. So here I fixed my spinner to spin clockwise, and I'm going to begin adding my glitter kind of in a swirl pattern. Here I'm using 4 glitters, but you can definitely use more or less depending on the design that you're going for. Here I'm just adding each glitter side by side while the turner is turning clockwise. And if I miss a spot, I'm just waiting for it to come back around, and then I add glitter on that spot that I might have missed. So I'm going to continue and add the rest of my glitters. After adding all of my glitter on my tumbler, I did add the rose quartz glitter down at the bottom of my tumbler. I'm going to take an old gift card and press down on my glitter. That way I can get my glitter as flat as possible. That way when I go to begin adding my coats of Brite Tone, I can achieve a glossy cup faster since my glitter will be laying as flat as can be. I'm going to add another coat of glitter on top of this. That way I can have a better coverage. Every coat of Brite Tone does need 3 to 4 hours of dry time, so I'm going to allow this cup to spin for an hour and then dry for an additional 3 hours to total 4 hours of dry time before adding my second coat of glitter. Now that my cup has dried for 4 hours, I'm going to add my second coat of glitter. Here I'm taking a brush and brushing off any loose glitter that didn't adhere onto my cup. Now that I have done that, I'm going to add another coat of Brite Tone right on top of this glitter and then begin adding my second coat of glitter. I'm adding my glitter the same way, making sure that my turner is rotating clockwise and then adding my glitter. Also, don't forget to add glitter to the bottom of your cup. I am then going to put my cup back on my turner, and using my old gift card here, I'm going to press down towards my glitter. That way I can get it as flat as possible. And then I'm going to allow this coat of glitter to spin for an hour and then dry for an additional 3 hours to total 4 hours of dry time that Brite Tone requires for each coat. Now that my cup has dried for 4 hours, I'm going to seal my glitter using Crystalac's glitter glue. Glitter glue is an adhesive that bonds to metal, glass, plastic, ceramic, fabric, paper, and more. I'm going to use this Taklon brush and a little bit of water to add my coat of glitter glue onto my tumbler. I am first going to brush off any loose glitter that didn't adhere onto my cup using my same Taklon brush. I am then going to squeeze out a line of glue and spread it evenly on my tumbler. I'm going to dip my brush into the water. The water helps the glue spread easily. Sealing my glitter with glitter glue is going to ensure that I have a protective barrier between my glitter and my Brite Tone. While sealing my glitter, I'm also going to be smushing and flattening down my glitter using parchment paper. After adding this coat of glitter glue, I'm going to allow this to dry for an hour, and then I'm going to flatten and smush my glitter using parchment paper. Glitter glue requires 2 hours of dry time, so 1 hour in between that 2 hours, I'm going to flatten down using my parchment paper, and then I'm going to allow it to dry for that additional hour right after. I do repeat the steps twice just to ensure that my glitter is well flattened down. That way when I begin to add my coats of Brite Tone, I can achieve a glossy cup faster. Here my cup has already dried for an hour, so I'm going to go in with parchment paper and smush and flatten down my glitter. I'm going to roll and press down on my cup to flatten down my glitter as much as I can. As I mentioned earlier, I repeat the steps here twice, sometimes even 3 times to ensure that my glitter is well flattened down. So after doing this step here, I'm going to allow this to dry for that additional hour that glitter glue requires of dry time, and I'm going to add another coat of glitter glue, wait another hour, and then smush and flatten down my glitter using parchment paper, and then allow it to dry for that additional hour. So here my cup is ready for Brite Tone. My glitter is as flat as it can be, and I'm going to begin adding my coats of Brite Tone and begin glossing up this cup. Don't record every coat of Brite Tone that I add to my cup simply because every coat of Brite Tone is added the same. You want to add just a thin coat of Brite Tone, just enough to where it's not dripping off of your cup. 2 paper sheets thick is what's recommended. With Brite Tone, a glossy finish is achieved by building up your gloss. Brite Tone coats are added super quick and easy. Since Brite Tone comes ready to use, you can pop into your craft space and quickly add a coat of Brite Tone. For every coat of Brite Tone, you want to be sure to allow each coat to dry for the recommended dry time. You want to allow your cup to spin for an hour and then dry for an additional 3 hours to total 4 hours of dry time for every coat of Brite Tone that you give your cup. To achieve a glossy cup faster, it is recommended to sand your cup, level sand every 3 to 4 coats of Brite Tone. So here's my cup after the 4th coat of Brite Tone, and I'm going to do a nice level sand on my cup. The sanding sponge that I'm using here is a 400 grit sanding sponge. I'm going to give my cup a nice sand to help smoothen out my cup. Once I'm done sanding, I'm going to bring my cup back inside and just wipe it with a lint-free cloth. And then I'm going to continue adding my coats of Brite Tone until my cup is smooth enough to where I can add my Milky Way. So here's my cup back inside, and I'm going to continue coating my cup with Brite Tone until I achieve the gloss finish that I'm going for. I'm not going to add my Milky Way until my cup is completely smooth, just because I want that Milky Way effect to really look good and not bumpy from the glitter. Here I had something stuck on my cup and I took it off quickly and I continued coating my cup. But every coat of Brite Tone, as I mentioned, is added the same. You want to add just a thin coat of Brite Tone, just enough to where your cup isn't dripping. 2 paper sheets thick is what's recommended. And you let your cup spin for an hour and then dry for an additional 3 hours to total 4 hours of dry time. I don't count the number of coats that I give my cup. I simply continue adding coats of Brite Tone to my cup every 4 hours until I am satisfied with the gloss finish. Making sure that I sand every 3 to 4 coats of Brite Tone to help smoothen out my cup to achieve a glossy finish with less coats of Brite Tone. So I'm going to use Mica Powders to mix in with Brite Tone to create that Milky Way effect on my tumbler. These here are from the Hippie crafter and they are highly concentrated mica powders. Do come with 24 colors and they are absolutely beautiful. Here is what the inside looks like, and it comes with every color that you might think of. I'm going to link their website down in the video description. They have a ton of crafting goodies from mica powders to heat guns. They also have transfer tape, they have acrylic paints, acrylic markers. They have a ton of stuff in their website, so definitely check them out. These mica powders are super concentrated and I like how they are super pigmented. Here I'm opening this one here just to show you how pigmented they are. The one that I'm going to be using to create that Milky Way for this cup is going to be this white one, and it's in the color Silk White. You can add more than one color depending on how you want your Milky Way effect to look, but for this cup in specific, I'm only going to be using the color white to add that white Milky Way effect. I'm gonna add a little bit of Brite Tone into this container here. And then I'm going to add a little bit of this white mica powder into the Brite Tone to go ahead and tint it a little bit to create that white color that I'm going for. I'm going to use this metal stir stick to mix this in. You can also use a popsicle stick. Before adding my Milky Way effect, I'm going to add a coat of Brite Tone. That coat of Brite Tone is going to help my Milky Way effect to move around well and flow and create that nice Milky Way effect. I'm then going to allow this to spin for just a couple seconds so that it can self-level. I am then going to begin adding my Milky Way effect. I'm just using a popsicle stick here to pick up some of my mixture, and I add it along where each of the glitters meet. I like to add it where each of the glitters meet first. That way I can kind of get rid of that harsh line in between each one of the glitters. There's really no wrong or right way to do this. You kind of just play around with it until you are satisfied with how your Milky Way turned out. Now that I've added these lines in between where each one of the glitters meet, I'm going to start adding just random lines here along the glitters just to create more of that Milky Way effect. And then I'm going in with my finger, just running it along the same direction how the glitters are laid. I'm running my finger along that way. That way I can kind of move around the Milky Way just a little bit. As I mentioned, there's really no wrong or right way to do this. Just kind of have fun with it. If you feel like you need a little bit more in a certain area, add a little bit more. If you feel like you added too much, run your finger through that area and remove some of it. It's just depending on how you want your cup to look. Here I'm using a straw to kind of blow a little bit of air towards my Milky Way effect, just to kind of move the colors around a little bit. Now that I'm satisfied with how my Milky Way turned out, I'm going to allow this cup to spin for an hour and then dry for an additional 3 hours to total 4 hours of dry time. So here my previous coat of Brite Tone along with my Milky Way has dried for 4 hours, and I'm going to continue coating my cup with Brite Tone until I am satisfied with my gloss finish. I don't really count the number of coats that I give my cup. I just simply continue coating every 4 hours until I'm satisfied with how my cup looks. As a reminder, every coat of Brite Tone is added the same. You want to add a nice thin even coat, 2 paper sheets thick, it's what's recommended. You then want to allow your cup to spin for an hour and then dry for an additional 3 hours to total 4 hours of dry time in between each coat. So here's how my cup turned out. I absolutely love making Milky Way tumblers. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask down in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you aren't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I do upload a new video every Thursday. Also, follow me on Instagram. My DMs there are always open and I post there daily. My Instagram name is MelissaCrafter00. Thank you guys so much for watching.